Hi, I'm Dr. Anthony Harper here with the InterMountain Christian News Hour, and here at the Values Voter Summitt. And it's been quite the event here. This 2016 election is a crucial election coming up, and General Harrell joins me today, one of the speakers here at this event, to share with our listeners some of the major concerns that you see for this, and how crucial this 2016 election is, and implications for the future of America.
It is extremely important to the future of America because we have a clear choice between two candidates. One who has let's just say, a tarnished leadership record. One who has a leadership in the business world, who has demonstrated the capability to surround himself with smart people, take their advice, and then use that to build on. And I think the choice is very, very clear. And I would urge everyone to go out and vote. But bear in mind that some of the issues that have been discussed lately, especially about Secretary Clinton, are extremely problematic for me. I was in the military. I had one of the highest security classifications you can have. If I had done what she did, I would be in jail. And how she is not in jail, I don't understand. So if you're happy with how America is today, with high unemployment, scarcity of jobs, enormous or a complete lack of foreign policy, and disrespect of the military, then vote for Hillary Clinton. If you would like to change that and make our country great again, to steal the line, vote for Donald Trump. But this is a very, very crucial point in our history. I worry about our country if we continue down the path that we are currently on. And that's what we would do, I'm afraid, if Secretary Clinton were elected.
Very disturbing. Have you met Mr. Trump?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And he's reaching out. He made in his presentation, reaching out to the Christian community. And I really was so appreciating his willing to defend our Christian freedoms and to stop this persecution of Christians around the world. And so I do hope and pray. Franklin Graham was also talking about the importance of the evangelical vote. That needs to happen to make a difference. And
that's correct.
Hillary can be defeated if the evangelical voters turn out. So I appreciate Mr. Trump reaching out to the Christian leaders in this nation, whereas Hillary Clinton has not reached out to the evangelical leaders that I know of.
No, I'm unaware of it. And I was fortunate enough to be at Mr. Trump's speech in Philadelphia. And he finished it up with a very important comment. He said, we need to make America great and restore this to one nation, under one God, under one flag. And I may have that a little backwards, but basically he said one nation, under one flag, and one God. I think that's extremely important in this day and age. And that's not disrespecting anybody else. But America is a great place. But if we have uncontrolled immigration and issues like that continue to plague us, and perception that some people have that we are no longer a nation of laws because certain people are allowed to violate the law and suffer no consequence, it will not be good for our nation. It will not be the same United States that we remember.
Not at all. I want our listeners to know about a little bit of your background. You are an Army general,
that's correct.
Major General.
Right.
And I thank you for your service. You've
You're welcome.
A great sacrifice in all the people that you are commanding. They've given so much for our freedoms here. What would be the main point that you would want to share with our Christian listeners about our military and how to go forward?
Our military is crucial to the defense of America, and that's their main objective. That's their main mission. They support and defend the Constitution of the United States. They support and defend the citizens of the United States. But if you use the military for social experimentation and you weaken them and you don't allow them to do the proper training, you don't give them the proper funds, you don't man them at the proper levels, I believe the Army is at the lowest level it's been since 1940.
Wow.
And that is terrific in terms of the potential consequence to our nation. The Navy needs to be up somewhere around 320 to 350 ships, depending on who you talk to. I believe we're in the 280s. 286 comes to mind. I'm not sure about that, but it's less than 300 ships. The Air Force is, as you heard in the panel in there, the B-52 first came online in about 1951. Now, and the majority of them will probably date back to 1955. That's our major bomber. Have we upgraded it? Yes. Is it too old to still be flying? I'm worried that it is. So we put a lot of well-trained, good people at risk just to fly the thing. And I am certainly not derogatory towards the Air Force. I feel sorry that they have to do that. And we have some more modern planes, that's for sure. But even our most modern aircraft are getting older. And then our acquisition corps is having trouble building the next generation fighter. A lot of criticism for the F-35. So when you put all this together and look at it, it's a worrisome time for the United States military. And if we don't control our borders, and we don't have a strong military, then we are in peril in the United States.
You know, along with this issue about a lot of talk about terrorism, Franklin Graham is on a 50-state tour talking about the need for national prayer and repentance. He brought up the issue of Israel. In their history, terrorism increased in their country when they refused to humble themselves and pray and turn from wickedness. And so a lot of Christian leaders believe that we can't defeat these military battles if spiritually our nation isn't restored.
Well, I agree. You know, a lot of people say, well, this is President Obama's fault or so-and-so's fault or whatever. No, it's our fault. We are the ones that need to fall on our knees and turn to God and strengthen our prayer life and our relationship with God and let Him take care of our nation. So there are a lot of issues floating around right now, and I'm very concerned that some of these issues, if Mrs. Clinton comes in, it'll be a continuation of the same old sad story.
Very disturbing, and a lot of people are concerned that Hillary would not support Israel. And Obama has not very well, but Mr. Trump is very supportive of Israel, isn't he?
Yes.
And that's a key thing, because a lot of people, Christian leaders, believe that those that bless Israel will be blessed, and those that curse Israel do not support them.
I would be worried that if we turned our back on Israel, we might just cease to exist.
And finally, this two-state solution, a lot of people are talking about, actually would not bring peace at all to Israel. They've given a lot away, land already, and there's just more violence, more terrorism. So, but yet our administration still is pushing, and even Hillary, pushing this two-state solution, really will not be a blessing to Israel at all. So what will Mr. Trump do, you believe,
I think he's demonstrated that he will reach out and support Israel. I don't know what the answer is in the Middle East. It's been a problem for hundreds of years. But I do know that Israel is very important. It's a key player, and they're our best friend. We need to support them. And, you know, it's not one-sided. I would also say the same thing about Jordan. King Abdullah has been one of our best allies in this current situation. And I am not sure that we are supporting him to the right level that we should be. I know when he was over here, and his pilot was killed, burned horribly, killed tragically. He went home and he started leading the attacks against ISIS. And the rumor is that he asked for help from us, and we turned him down, and he went to another country. I don't know whether that's true or not. I hope it's not, because if it does, we have certainly slighted a wonderful ally. And in all fairness, he's a personal friend of mine. I like him a lot. We were SF battalion commanders together when we did some training over in Georgia. He's a great leader.
Well, we are in definitely a very serious time at jeopardy. A lot of Christian leaders see we're in perilous times. So I'd encourage all of our listeners to this broadcast to seriously be in prayer and repentance throughout our nation. And God willing, we'll get back on track again.
And make sure they all vote.
Especially voting, right? We can make a difference. If those 20 million evangelical voters all turned out, this could be easy to defeat Hillary.
Yes, it would.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Doctor.
Appreciate you for sharing.